Hello, welcome to our Picks and Ponderings video preview of Saturday's Grade 3 Delta Princess Stakes. It's the sixth race on Saturday's stakes-laden Delta Jackpot Day card, and the third leg of a $200,000 guaranteed all-stakes pick 4. The Princess itself is a mile on the Delta dirt for 2-year-old fillies, and this year the race drew a field of 7. The race itself has existed since 2002, and it's been the 2-year-old filly's complement to the Delta Jackpot. Probably the most famous horses to have won the Delta Princess to date are last year when Take Charge Brandy followed up her 60-1 shocker in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies with a win in the Princess, as well as 2 years back when a then little-known horse named Tepin won it. Of course, 2 years later, Tepin just beat the boys in the Breeders' Cup Mile and has a pretty solid claim to champion turf mare this year. So the last 2 winners of the Delta Princess have turned out to be pretty darn good. This year's Delta Princess, as I said, it drew a field of 7, and there's a prohibitive favorite on the morning line, and that is La Passionata, the number 6. She is the winner of the My Trusty Cat, which is the local prep. And so far, there's never been a horse to go from winning the My Trusty Cat into the winning the Princess as well. There's been a horse who finished 3rd and won. That said, odds look good that La Passionata is going to become the first horse to do that double of the My Trusty Cat into the Princess. She's trained by Steve Asmussen. Asmussen has won a couple of Princesses already. He won in 04 with Punch Appeal, as well as in 08 with 4 Gifts. Probably the bigger shocker is that La Passionata's jockey, G Money, has never won a Princess. Still, he's won plenty of races at Delta Downs, including the race last out, the My Trusty Cat with La Passionata. So he knows he works well with the horse already. The speed figures, the Brisnet type that Picks and Ponderings are quite partial to, are good and consistent. She fired a 90 in her debut and bang on just the same in the My Trusty Cat. That's enough to suggest she's probably not going to regress off of that here. This field's a little harder. She stretches out from 7 furlongs to a mile, but being by Bernardini out of a Carson City mare, not crazy to think that she can handle the extra furlong, particularly with that Bernardini on top. The stalking style should also work. She's not going to be setting the fractions. That is one thing. It doesn't look like this race drew a ton of speed. Charlie's Pal is really the only one who seems to be the I want to go to the front, yeah! But I think Charlie's Pal wants a mile, not at all. I don't love her chances of actually staying on that long, and La Passionata is going to be the first and best to get a run. So yeah, as far as my top selection in the Princess, I'm not going creative. I'm just going to say La Passionata's the goods. What about you, Paul?
What, I get to talk now? Well, I'm Paul Major of Picks and Ponderings, and you've been listening to Nicole Newlist at Road Clown talk about La Passionata and the Delta Princess. And I'm sorry, but she's morning line 3 to 5, and she's 3 to 5 on that morning line for a reason. Those playing that all stakes pick 4 will probably be searching for singles. You found it. I completely the third start progressing from second start to third start. There's reason to think she can run back to what she did in the My Trusty Cat. You've got Gerald Malonzon who rides very well this oval, despite the fact he's never won a Princess. But this is his oval where he does well, and trainer Steve Asmussen is gonna keep Okay, with a familiar hand. I mean, I know this is. I know that you don't get creativity points for picking 3 to 5 morning line favorites, but I can't think of any. I can't oppose it. I'm sorry.
It's the least glamorous and yet still a very helpful point of handicapping. When the chalk's the goods, they're the goods. Get creative elsewhere, but when they're the goods, they're the goods. And La Passionata looks it. That said, for a second selection, back in the Delta Jackpot preview, Paul, for his second selection, went to the pair of Ron Moquette and Robbie Alvarado for his second selection. I didn't go to them there, but I did go to them as my second selection here. And I know what you're saying. Wait, that horse has started twice and never even hit the board. Sure, and she's stretching out to a mile for the first time, coming in second off of a freshening, has the best Brisnet speed figure on the dirt of anyone in this field when she finished fourth at Keeneland last out, going 7 furlongs. It's not crazy to think that a super saver out of a Bo Genius mare is going to handle a mile, especially since she made such an improvement stepping from 5.5 furlongs at Ellis on debut to 7. Why not think, especially for a decent price, that she can run back to that, much less take a step forward and at least get a share behind La Passionata? You've got Robbie Alvarado in the irons, and even though he's not riding at Delta regularly nowadays, he's won a big race at Delta before. He won the Jackpot in 2006 on the fantastically named Bird is the Word. Got Ron Moquette, who wins at a perfectly respectable 15% with horses he's shipping in. And especially since we're looking here for horses to go underneath La Passionata, why not Learning Curve hitting the board for the first time?
I get to talk again?
Yes!
I'm sorry, Nicole, but I'm questioning. I know that you're doing this preview live from suburban Kansas City, and I'm starting to wondering if there's some psychic brain waves going through this feed, because I do like Learning Curve to complete that exact as well. Going second off the layoff, the pedigree's fine with me, and even though I'm as a personal handicapper, a little bit snake bit when I see the Robbie Alvarado's riding a horse. He is a jockey upgrade over Jack Gilligan, who's been riding this horse. Gilligan is a rider who's going to be riding a Turfway in the winter. Alvarado's gotten to the point where he's good enough that he can go and ride the Fairgrounds Oaklawn circuit and choose whichever one of the two he wants to based on what his agent or what his trainers may feel. Yes, I'm snake bit about. Yes, I'm not. Yes, I know there's a little bit of arm twisting to picking Alvarado, because it seems when I pick a Robbie Alvarado horse, he rides it like a nincompoop. But I'm getting a very noticeable jockey upgrade. I'm getting someone stretching out to 2 turns with a 7 with her having been fourth at 7 panels last time out of Keeneland. Maybe 2 turns is what she wants. Maybe a different rider is what she wants. There's a lot of upgrades going on with Learning Curve. We talked before this preview about how La Passionata at a 3 to 5 morning line is going to be the goods. One way you get creative, you key on it in a pick 4. Another way you get creative, look at horses at double-digit morning lines to fill in underneath. I think we found it.
Yep, I promise we did not handicap this race together. I handicapped it last night here at the hotel in Kansas. That said, it sounds like we're right on the same wavelength as far as Learning Curve. Now, I have no idea if we're going to make it 3 for 3, but I'll either give it a try or not, or however you end up calling it. Third, I did slot the number 4, Above Fashion. Above Fashion has been relatively consistent in her 6-race career. She's run on the board 5 times. The only time she missed was 4.5 furlong baby race at Gulfstream first time out. She finished second, well beaten, but second behind La Passionata, the best of the rest at Delta. And that jumped out. That's interesting because her first 5 starts were all at Gulfstream. At least the fact that she finished a clear second behind La Passionata in the My Trusty Cat suggests that she can take enough form to get a piece of this away from Gulfstream. This will be her first stretch out to a mile, but she was fine last out going 7, and I like the fact that she can handle the course. I like the fact that she gets extra sharp local connections. This will be her second start for trainer Ron Fauchot, who has been hitting the board. He's won 5 of his 19 starts this Delta meet. He's got the big cheese, Colby Hernandez, aboard, who's been winning at 29% this Delta meet. And the stalking style that Above Fashion has shown should keep her well within striking range, especially if that outside drawn Charlie's Pal is the only one to send. Is Above Fashion going to somehow turn the tables on La Passionata? No. But is what she's shown so far good enough to get a piece of this? Yeah.
I guess we're gonna go for the bingo bango bongo play, because I have Above Fashion slotted as my 3rd choice. Second time out for Mr. Fauchot, who in his second start out is hitting at a 30% win clip. I do like the fact that she's got transferable form from Gulfstream, which I know that sounds like a very obtuse idea, but it's the idea that sometimes Gulfstream horses run in a vacuum, and they need to take their track with them. And this one doesn't need to do that. That's amazing. But Above Fashion showed that she doesn't need that Gulfstream oval when she was second. Granted, a zip code behind La Passionata and the My Trusty Cat, but one thing also to keep in mind with the Colby Big Cheese Hernandez and Ron Fauchot combination, that in the last 2 months, encompassing a little bit of this Delta meet, the last 2 months for our wonderful people at Brisnet, 12 starts have gone together, 4 wins, and 2 more money finishes. They work well, and they work well together, and they're working on Above Fashion.
All right, let's see if we can make this 4 for 4. As for my long shot, sorry guys, I think that's learning curve, and the long shot rider is down drinking bourbon in the hotel bar.
While you're drinking hotel bourbons or checking out the 1095 prime rim special at Delta's adjoining casino, I'm going to use my long shot as the horse trained by Gennady Dorochenko. We will give you a second to wipe off your monitors, or to stop laughing.
Yes, Paul.
I know it's usually the easiest thing to do. See, if you need a long shot anyways, call Gennady Dorochenko. But there are some good things to keep in mind. With number 5, she's the winner. This one will go second time off the layoff. She won last time in a first level allowance at Gulfstream Park West. Back in the day when Gulfstream was Calder, and I'm not sure, and I'm guessing that it's the same. I'm guessing that even though they've changed the nameplate, that Gulfstream Park West dirt still can be a bit of a tiring surface. So I'm thinking she may actually come into this race with a bit of a fitness advantage. Plus, she's going second. Plus, she won that race at a 2-turn mile at Gulfstream, first off the lay. Not an easy thing to do, and obviously the bettors thought that was not an easy thing to do, considering she went off at 66 and 2/10 to 1. Holy Toledo! But there are other good. But also sometimes on bull rings, horses that have a little bit of a turfy pedigree because of the tight ovals and the changing of the leads will do well. This one, Starline, Patio Prado El Prado, which is turf on turf. Yes, it's Gennady. Yes, it's Gennady Dorchenko who does win infrequently. But when he brings in horses, he's bringing them in with some sneaky, subtle form. This one's got some sneaky, subtle form in the sense that this one did graduate at first asking at Gulfstream, won at Gulfstream West at a 2-turn mile, and we'll go second off the layoff in this event. Maybe while the other long shot rider is thinking about the Hotel Bourbons, I'll be thinking about She's the Winner to maybe get a piece of someone to use under a La Appassionata.
So just to look back and recap who we like here in the Delta Princess, I've got the number 6, La Appassionata, on top. Second, I've got the 2, Learning Curve. Third, I've got the 4, Above Fashion. So 6, 2, 4 with no long shot.
My top 3 mirrors that of Nicole, with my long shot as the number 5, that She's the Winner. We're both thinking La Appassionata at short money is the way to go in the Delta Princess.
Thank you for watching our video preview of the Delta Princess, and good luck on Saturday.